In this video, we hope to give some advice on finding a job in the computer field. First, let's start with your resume. Typical advice about resumes is that your resume should not be more than one page. But this advice doesn't really hold in the technology field. When people look at your resume, they expect to see all of your education, all of the technologies you've ever used, either on jobs or in education, all of the programming languages you know, and a variety of other technology information about yourself on your resume. Resumes in the technology field can easily be multiple pages long. Make it clear what projects you've done for a customer as opposed to a project you might have done strictly academically. Make a section for experience and include all previous technology jobs and any projects done for customers. This would include any internship or capstone project you might have worked on. Now, it's important to note that normally the person who originally filters through resumes for a job opening may not have any technical background. So they're looking for keywords. So don't assume when you write your resume that whoever reads it knows that Oracle database uses SQL. So if you put down that you know Oracle database, you might assume that a person with a technology background knows that Oracle databases use structured query language or SQL, but don't assume the person who goes through your resume would know that. So you want to put both down, so if they're looking for Oracle database or for SQL, they'll match it to your resume. Most resumes kind of make this easy by having a technology summary section. So they might have programming languages, and you notice here we not just list Java, but all of the kind of the sub-technologies of Java, like Java Swing, J2EE, servlets, JSPs. You might list Python, SQL. Often you list all the databases you've used, like Oracle, SQLite, JavaDB. You list development environments. You list web servers, maybe application servers, design models you've built. You really want a summary section to go through all the technologies and that you've used to kind of summarize them. So if someone is looking for keywords, they can quickly match them to your resume. Now, the first job in any field, especially the technology field, is the hardest to get. So have an expectation that you're going to send out a few hundred resumes before you get your first job. But it's key not to give up. Some people send out a few and get discouraged and then kind of just give up. You need to have a mindset that you're going to continue to send out resumes until you get a job, no matter how long that takes. I suggest setting up a weekly goal, normally between 10 and 20. So let's say you pick 20. So every week you're going to set aside time to look for jobs that you can apply to until you've sent 20 resumes out that week. Know the jobs that are related to your course of study. So think about the courses you took and what jobs would map to those. So it's not just computer programmer and software developer. There's requirements analyst, software tester, database administrator, quality assurance officer, etc. To get new job title ideas, check out the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. They have a whole career database with a lot of good information. Send resumes regardless of the minimum requirements, as long as it's within reason. So if the job says they want a minimum of 3 to 5 years experience and you have no experience, send the resume. Seldom will a company ever advertise, we want someone with a degree and no experience. That normally doesn't happen. So the reason you would send it, even if you don't meet the minimum requirements, are for a couple reasons. First, they may not find somebody that meets the minimum requirements. So then they either have to republish the opening, which costs them money, or they could just pick someone who didn't meet the minimum requirements but came close and hire them. And oftentimes they just go to the people who've applied, even if they didn't originally meet the minimum requirements. Second is they might have other job openings that they haven't advertised for yet. And if they see your resume and you're a good fit, they might say, wow, if we hired this person, we wouldn't have to advertise, pay money to advertise the job elsewhere. So if they're doing something that you want to do, like let's say you want to be a Java developer, if they have ads for Java developers, send them a resume. Now, where can you find the openings to meet your goal? Let's say your goal is 20 a week. Well, obvious choices, you have job search engines like Career Builder, Monster, Indeed, Dice. There's probably a few more. The UMGC Career Services has a database of job openings. So you should be able to find some each week from there. Next, search for a list of the largest companies in your area or state and go directly to their websites, even if they're not technology companies. For example, in Maryland, some of the largest employers are Marriott and McCormick. Marriott is a hotel chain. McCormick makes spices like Old Bay. And you wouldn't think these are technology companies, but they're so large that they hire a lot of people with technology backgrounds. You also can network. You can talk to classmates who work in the field. LinkedIn is a good resource, friends and family. Many times, very large IT companies allow you to set up a resume right in their recruiting system. So their hiring managers can search and find you. Then each week you can log in, search on jobs, and just check a box beside the jobs you want to apply to and click a button and it will send your resume to those job openings. So start making a list of large IT companies, and there's normally two types. One that does services. So you think about IBM, Lockheed Martin, Booz Allen, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Accenture, the Department of Defense, government agencies, SAIC, CACI, and I'm sure you can search and find a list of many more. And then there are organizations that make technology products like Microsoft, Apple, HP, Oracle. Most of the jobs for Microsoft, HP, and Oracle are on the West Coast, but they do have some technology jobs on the East Coast. And then once you have your list, every week or every few weeks, go back and revisit all of these different sources to send resumes. And over time, you'll notice that new jobs will come up that you can apply to. So if you have your goal of 20 a week and every week you send out 20, at some point you'll reach a critical mass and you'll begin to get interviews. Never stop building your resume. So you always should be trying to add new knowledge, experience, and credentials to it. And this is good advice for anyone in the technology field, even if you have a job and a lot of experience. You never want to stop trying to build your resume. Here are some ideas. One is that you could donate some time to an open source project. This will give you additional experience on your resume. So you can put this down as actual work experience, even though you didn't get paid for it. Consider industry certifications. You could even put on your resume that you're studying for one, even if you haven't taken it yet. You should suggest reviewing them and making sure it's at your level, because some certifications are for people who've done it professionally for many, many years. There are technology certifications like Java and Oracle have certifications for different products. And then there's also certifications for specific jobs, like the American Software Testing Qualifications Board has a certification for software testers. The Certified Professional Requirements Engineer organization has a certification for requirements engineers. Consider additional degrees and certificates. You could check out edX or Coursera. They have very low cost certificates that you can work on. Also, keep in mind all of the different jobs in your area. So if you have a degree in software engineering, it's not just computer programmer that are careers in software engineering. You have requirements analyst, computer programmer, software engineer, software tester, quality assurance engineer, user interface designer. So these are all different job titles that you could be searching for or looking for when you're looking for a job. If your degree's in computer science, there's not just computer programmer, there's database administrator jobs, software testing, network and operations jobs. So don't narrow yourself to just a programmer position. You also can think about jobs based on your personality. So in general, people who are kind of deep thinkers become programmers. People who are quick thinkers become system administrators. People who are somewhere between deep and quick thinkers become database administrators. People who write go into business or requirements analysts. Organized people that worry become project managers, and teachers become trainers. If you have a prior career and you got into technology later in life, think about if there is an overlap between your prior career and technology. For example, if you used to be a teacher, you could teach technology at a high school or college. Also, don't forget that many organizations have corporate training. So for example, if you wanted to be trained on Oracle database, you could go to Oracle, and they have classes at different places around the country where you can have a class on how to do different aspects of Oracle databases. The person who teaches that class has to know Oracle and have a technology background, but also needs to know how to teach. And companies that make end user products also have training courses that they provide to customers. If you had a background in sales, all technology sales teams at companies like Microsoft have sales engineers. They demo products, they do prototypes, they complete proposals. So they work with the salesmen to do the technical piece of the sales throughout the sales lifecycle. So those people typically need to know the technology very deeply, but it also helps if they know sales as well. If your previous career was in business, for example, if you were an accountant, investigate companies that build accounting software. If your background was in science, investigate companies in that science field. If you have a background in the military, investigate companies that build like military simulation software or other military software, or at military contracts. Because trying to leverage previous skills you have with technology helps increase your potential to get a job.